go. Let's get ourselves underway. Mark Day with a save of a magnificent proportion. Looks to the inside, and maybe there's a chance. A bit of a slide then, then a bit of a shot to the back bumper, and he continues to look. Well, everybody knows that this is one race that you need to look at out of all who started. Only 3 then stand with a shot of taking this. An incredible title then, an opportunity that is needed. This is what is going to be a fantastic race then so far as we host here on the Thursday Xfinity Series, the BBJ SimRacing Race for the Championship. A crucial race, and hope you strike lucky here around Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 1.5 miles, 4 turns, qualifying currently underway as things stands. We're streaming live on iRacing Live, brought to you by RaceSpotTV. Jake Sperry here in the commentary box here alongside Connery Maddock. Connery, we need to talk about this championship. 3 drivers in with a shot. Logan Cress in the 30, Corey Silver in the 27, Evan Black in the 8. We need to talk about the win ratios though. Across this 11 race season, only 1 race has not gone to Cress or Silver. That's Chad Coleman. And what has to be remembered is Cress is up at the moment 6-4 as things stand on Corey Silver right now.
Yes, he is. And also Logan Cress, his qualifying time right now is good enough for pole position if the session had ended right now, but we still have around about 5 minutes of qualifying left. Corey Silver in that 3rd position currently in qualifying. He is still down pit road, so he probably doesn't think he can improve his time, but he may be back out before the session ends. Evan Black also going to come off pit road to try and set a better qualifying time than 4th currently. All 3 of your drivers that can win this championship, they're inside the top 4 in qualifying.
Yes, they certainly are right now, and they'll be looking to try and get that perfect lap time in then during qualifying. What is something to note then in terms of this season. It has been one of those seasons where it's been back and forth between two drivers as they got themselves towards the chase. We saw it at Indianapolis, just how close the battling could be. It went down to a last lap decider, and of course we were seeing down through the chase, it went from 8 drivers to 5 to 3, and now here at the end of this one, it is only going to be 1. Watch out though for turns 1 and 2 here, Connery. Las Vegas Motor Speedway is a very bumpy circuit here. You gotta be incredibly careful about how you dip that car in, and of course the longer you go into a run, the more you're going to arc up into that oval.
Yeah, just talking about the looseness, especially on the entries of the corners. As we see Evan Black, he gets a big drift coming out of turn 4. That qualifying time is definitely not going to count as he spins towards the pit road. But as you say, the entries can be very, very loose here. It's very easy just to get that back end out as the track just changes its banking coming into the corners. And some of your drivers have been struggling with that in this qualifying session. But to set a fast time, you really have to be on the limit controlling that oversteer.
Yeah, you certainly do. It's worth noting that this race is going to be running for 115 laps overall, or an hour and 50 minutes, whichever one comes first then come the end of this race. What it will mean though here is that pit stop strategy is certainly going to come into effect. On a green flag run from flag to flag, you're looking at this 2-stop strategy coming to play, potentially a 3-stop. And the reason why I say green flag stops here, Connery, is because last time out at Auto Club, we went flag to flag without a single caution. Is there potential here to do the same again this time?
There definitely is potential if they've done it before. Again, as you said, we saw it last time out, so I wouldn't be entirely surprised if we see a green flag, flag-to-flag run here in the final round of the championship. But these guys have a lot more to play for. Corey Silver, Logan Crest, they were, for all intents and purposes, locked into this this race right here. So they didn't really have all of that much to race for going into the last round. So, but now they do, and they'll be fighting much, much harder, and that can result in some incidents.
Yeah, it certainly can, and you're going to see qualifying right now. It's open qualifying, as you can note right now, everyone on track at the same time. It will also mean, though, that when that 10 minutes expires, it's not 10 minutes and that's it. It's 10 minutes and finish your lap. That's going to be the crucial difference. Corey Silver then moves himself up into second in qualifying right now, 30.495. Still a shade off of getting that pole position that he needs. Pulls himself over to the side and says, you know what, put it back into pit road, try another go. What you do see though here, Connery, and we've been seeing this as drivers have been pushing, Evan Black the prime example, coming off of 4. That's been the key issue that we've been seeing here. Seen him 3 or 4 times here in this qualifying, just push it a little bit too hard, lose the back end. It's just those fine margins that could mean the difference here today between getting yourself that all-important BBJ Sim Racing race for the championship win or not.
Yeah, as he does it again, coming out of turn 2 this time, just getting the back end out. I think he was trying to correct some understeer that then turned into oversteer, just slided the back end out. Again, that qualifying lap isn't going to count, and he's running out of them right now. We only have 50 seconds left in qualifying.
Yeah, it's also worth remembering Evan Black is yet to get a win right now here in this series as such far. Doesn't matter here if you get a win or not during the preseason. He got himself into the final spot in the chase by locking himself then as the highest place finisher at Auto Club. But it will mean that if he finishes ahead of Silver and Crest, he may not even have to win a single race at all to take the championship when all is said and done. Silver's day is done. Crest, though, will get another lap then going forward then, so it will be a case of, is Logan Crest's lap good enough? Currently sits on pole position then, timer 15 seconds then, looking on the clock. Chad Coleman could be the key difference here between winning or losing it. He does go quicker, 30.526. Something to note though here is he's only managed to gain fractions, and he's not managed to find that half a tenth of a second that he really does need. Session time will expire, and it's going to be all about who can go quickest. Black can't, he's got a massive drift through the middle of the corner. Can Logan Crest go any quicker? Answer to that, 30.543, no, he cannot. The track heating up quite a bit, so now it all lies on Chad Coleman, who can't do it. John Gilmore Smith then in the 71, he'll look to try and make his drive to the line, and has he done enough? Answer is going to be no, he has not. So for the time being, that is going to be all she wrote as things potentially stand right now. Let's take a look then at how they will be lining up then on this starting grid then. And of course, we've got to look at row number 1 as things stand. Logan Crest then is on the inside with a 30.478. Outside row 1 will be his title challenger in the form of Corey Silver. Row 2 will see Chad Coleman, who won last time out off of a rich vein of form. Evan Black then on the outside of row 2, the underdog if ever there was one. Mike Thompson then will line up on row 3 with Brandon Crouch. John Gilmore Smith there will line up on the inside of row 4 with Dale Stanley alongside. Mark Day then in the 43 then will line up in 9th. Stefan Vong there is on the outside of row 5. Row 6 sees Leland Bordage and also Simon Thorns, with row 7 being Jeremy Funk and Chris Kniefel there. And of course, rounding out 15 drivers then this evening for this final race in the championship will be the 6 machine of Joshua Medlock. What has to be remembered here is these starts are going to be crucial, Connery. We may see one, we may see many when all is said and done. It will be about how Logan Crest deals with himself when that green flag does fly, when he is there behind the pace car. It's going to be all about who can keep their cool in this situation, and it's all about who knows how to play the technical prowess the best.
Yes, it is, as your drivers grid up behind the pace car. I just want to talk about Evan Black in that number 8 car, only fourth in qualifying. He's shown throughout the season that he doesn't really have the pace on track at all of the other tracks to beat Silver and Crest. But if Silver and Crest have an issue, perhaps separately, perhaps with each other, that results in contact, Evan Black could be in a position to take this championship if he's able to keep it on track and out of trouble. We saw him in qualifying. He was having a massive issue with oversteer coming through the turns. If he can get that resolved, if he can keep it pointed in the right direction and his competitors have issues, well, he may be taking this championship.
Yeah, pace car then looking to get itself then going. It's going to be 1 lap then until we get ourselves to green then, as we round ourselves around at turns 1 and 2 here, and about 60 miles an hour as things stand. You can see everyone just trying to get themselves in a situation. Chad Coleman just taking things slow then as he gets himself looking to move forward. It's not about the pace. Yeah, it will all close up before the start of this one. 15 cars on the grid then, and it will be one of those races where it will be all about who can get themselves to the end. A game of attrition then, a race longer than all the others. Something else to note is one of the wins that Corey Silver had this season was at a road course in the form of Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, so that could be something to play into effect then, as Crest seemingly has the advantage then as far as the ovals go. Strategy may be the important port of call then. We could also say we saw Corey Silver try a strategy call at Auto Club. It backfired then. Will it backfire this time if he decides to do something the same, or can he afford to risk it? Pace car then will be looking to try and drop itself off of the lane this time by. Now they hold, now they wait, all on Logan Crest then. The race for the championship, the BBJ SimRacing race for the championship. Let's get ourselves going, and the green flag then will fly. As you can see there, a great start from Evan Black there from the second row. He'll be looking to try and get the push. It's Crest there on the inside. Silver will have to try and work the outside line, and you can see instantly your 3 challengers then already there, and you can see Evan Black down to the inside trying to force a way through on Silver, Connery.
Yeah, here comes Evan Black in that number 8 on Corey Silver, heading their way down into turn 3 this time. Corey Silver still on that outside line, running that second lane as your P2 and P3 still run side by side, but they're just going to fall in line just for this front stretch. Corey Silver all over the back of the 8, tries to make a pass on the apron.
Yes, he does, and that's going to be the key line then that they're all going to be taking to the inside then here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and Corey Silver is going to get that one sorted, but they can't afford to be battling too hard here, because you can see Logan Crest is the big threat right now. If he gets away, there's nothing that they can do about this one. You can see taking that wider arc in there, a little bit wider there was Logan Crest through that corner. No real worries then so far, as Black will look to try and get that run. 1/10 when they last passed the line. This time when they pass the line, that gap opens up. Now it's about 4/10 of a second. Now it's about working even harder. On the back of those two though, Brandon Crouch and also Chad Coleman as well. Don't count out Dale Stanley in this one either here, Connery, because they're looking to go and battle for it. Crouch doesn't care about this championship battle. He's looking for third.
Yes, he is. As 93 heads his way down towards the bottom of the track in 3 and 4, but his runs just stalls in the middle of the corner. Evan Black able to get better traction, but actually 93 does get the run off the corner, even though he was holding the lower lane. He's going to just take to the apron, make the front straight just a little bit shorter, just to gain fractions of a tenth, as Kreutz heads to 3rd position in turn 1.
Yes, he does, and now you can see Evan Black now just drifting further and further away. Crest taking control of this one. Stanley behind that one, though. He will look to try and get down the inside of Chad Coleman, then into 3 and 4, and he will be looking to try and get that run sorted. Can he make that one get itself into effect? Answer is he's going to have that inside then for turn number 1. They enter the tri-oval as they look to try and get themselves going forward once again. Lap 5 here out of 115 right now. Just seen ourselves past then that marker of about 7.5 miles. Stanley to the inside. Stanley takes position.
Yes, he does, but the 20 will have the run off the corner. Instead, he just lays back just a little bit, just rides Dale Stanley's bumper a little bit, as Dale Stanley will push more towards the outside of the track, running more of a middle line than Chad Coleman, as Chad Coleman is going to drift up very, very slightly, almost into the number 55, but no contact in that one, as Chad Coleman will retake the position.
Yeah, Chad Coleman then just chops the nose as they head into turn number 1. You can see Stanley pinched up high as he looks to try and cut it back low to get the run out of the corner. Not going to happen. A small mistake there from Dale Stanley in the 55, and that's going to mean that he's going to lose a little bit of time. Look out for the battle for second, though. As things stand, you've got there Brandon Kreutz now looking to try and challenge Corey Silver here for second position, and that's the last thing Corey Silver will want in the form of another car between himself and Logan Crest. But that gap is starting to etch away. Crest has managed to find an incredible turn of pace. He's already found a second. Silver takes the high line. Low line then for Kreutz, and maybe he can use Kreutz as a little bit of slipstream with that better pace. Kreutz still there though, down on the inside looking for it. Can't quite do it for the moment here, Connery. Maybe we need to look at strategy here. We said it's going to be a 2-stop call potentially. The 3-stop might come into effect here if it's all green. We're looking at about 40 laps here for a run.
Yes, we are, and that is for the 2-stop. Around about 38, 39 laps for the actually for the 3-stop. It's going to be about lap 28, 29 when you expect guys to come in. As we see Corey Silver, he's already running that high line in 1 and 2. And now the drivers were talking about this in practice later on in the run. That high line does come into effect as Kreutz, you just saw, his run stalled on that low line. Corey Silver got a much better exit as a result of running that high line, and he's just eked out just a little bit more of a gap.
Yeah, he certainly has. Keep attention, though, to the battle behind this main battle we're seeing here. The 71 and the 43 then nose to tail right now. John Gilmore-Smith and Mark Day. And something to note here about John Gilmore-Smith. He is certainly one of those drivers who is very, very good at saving tyres during a run. He is that driver who can really light up the tyres then during the second half of a stint. He may come back into this one here if things stay like this. Day then to the back bumper, can't quite get himself close enough for the moment, but you can see he'll try and get that run, try and use that toe then coming out of the corner. 178 miles an hour then he hits as he goes all over the apron, trying to find a way through, trying to get himself a little bit coming down in. There was a little bit of an overlap, so the room was left there by Gilmore Smith. Not happening for the moment here. 10 laps, score complete.
Yes, as those two drivers head their way out of turn 2, Mark Day just falling back a little bit from that number 71 as Smith as they head their way down into 3 and 4. Now this is the stage in the race where your drivers are just settling into a rhythm. 10 laps in, no early caution to be concerned about right now. So your guys just setting just consistent lap times right now. As Mark Day, again, you see some of these drivers, they're going to take to the apron coming down the pit straight just to shorten that pit straight by just a couple of meters to be able to get a lap time that's only fractions of a tenth faster, but it could be all that matters at the end.
Simon Thorns in the 51 looking to get past the 85 then of Stefan Vong right now. This is a battle going on for 10th position then out on circuit to the inside. Thank you very much, we'll say Simon Thorns from Club UK and Ireland. He'll get himself the position then as they look to stay side by side just for the moment. I believe Vong will have to fall into line. A little bit of a wiggle though from the car behind. Mistake from the 6er Medlock then as he drops himself about a second in time then with that one big error there. Just clip the grass then on the inside, and that's the big risk that everyone is running there here, Connery. As you can see right now, Black looking even more excited on the back of Brandon Kreutz. He wants third back again.
Yes, he really does, and he doesn't want to be concerned he doesn't want to actually fight too much, as actually Evan Black will try and take towards the outside, coming down the pit straight. He will take it too wide, coming down into turn 1, running that high line, running basically the third line, 2 tires on each side of the seam, as he'll get the run off the corner. Kreutz is just almost going to make contact. Kreutz may also come under threat from the 20. Chad Coleman, he also heads his way down the inside, and that is the 93, losing 2 positions in 1 corner.
Yeah, you could see him listing up the circuit lazily to the right there, losing grip at every single opportunity. And from that, he goes from 3rd to 5th in the blink of an eye. We'll have to do that work all over again. Your Chase Championship contenders then, 1, 2, and 3 as things stand. But keep an eye out on Corey Silver in the 27. We talked about that gap just a few laps ago being up at a second, 1.1. It's now back down here, Connery, to 0.6 of a second. So Corey Silver has now put the hammer down, was potentially saving tyres early on in the stint. Now he's looking to work it again. Again, Crest taking the middle of the line.
Yes, he is, as your drivers start to move up the track as the tyres just come away from these guys just a little bit. Lap times, Logan Crest a 31.8 last time by Corey Silver, fastest of anyone that time with a 31.6, 0.2 of a second advantage to Silver.
Yeah, 0.2 of an advantage. The slipstream then coming directly into effect then here in these Xfinity machines. And that is one of the keys of this Xfinity here to deal with. That toe is so important. Again, now you can see here, down on the bottom line was Corey Silver. Again, trying to rubber in that middle line was Logan Crest. It will come into effect later on in a stint. He wants to get that ready now so that he can make sure that he can put it to full effect when he gets on later on. Again, you can see high now goes the driver of Corey Silver, trying to get that toe gap down to 0.3 of a second, but Evan Black now dropping off then, the gap 0.7. Coleman then looks to the inside, winner last time out at Auto Club Speedway, then down to the inside, he'll go then for position number 3, and for the moment things are going to remain side by side through 3 and remain side by side through 4, Connery.
Yes, they will, as they both head out of turn 4. The number 8 will have the advantage coming off the corner. Actually, he just lifts out and lets Chad Coleman go, and you can actually see why he did that. Actually challenged for the lead. Logan Crest on the bottom of the track, and Corey Silver right almost towards the wall, as Corey Silver will in fact get the run off of this corner if history is going to repeat itself, and there goes the number 27 to the race lead.
First lead change then of the day, and Corey Silver now holds the golden seat then. He stands king of the castle at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and you can see right now he is certainly doing a great job about things right now. I'd just like to give a shout out then to Air Movement and Fabrications Limited right now, the official sponsor then here of what is this, your Thursday Xfinity Series right now. You can see now Silver takes that highline crest, needs to get into the toe, needs to find that rhythm again. It seems that it's just started to fall away from him a little bit right now here, Connery. So for Logan Crest, maybe he's starting to think about the long game, and maybe his long game setup here isn't quite as good as his qualifying setup was in terms of getting himself to that pole seat.
Yeah, that could possibly be the case, Jake, because actually Chad Coleman has closed up to these two up front due to those two fighting, as again they'll take the high line coming into turn 1 and 2, so those tyres are already starting to go away from the drivers. Chad Coleman taking a slightly lower line, more towards the middle of the racetrack as they come through turn 1 and 2. It's fantastic to see this, how multi-groove this racetrack is, Jake.
Yeah, it certainly is right now. As you can see, halfway through the run right now as we stand at Las Vegas. You can see here, lap 20 then we're going to be hitting ourselves onto right now. And what we are seeing here is Corey Silver come into his own element. Now, Logan Crest falling back now 0.2 a lap consistently. He is dropping it, and Chad Coleman not going anywhere fast right now because he is just closing in at the same rate that Corey Silver did. That gap now down to 0.4 and onto the Black. Black then in a little bit of a world of his own right now. He's now 0.7 off the back of Chad Coleman here, and for Evan Black, he will now be relying on potentially strategy, potentially cautious to bring himself back into the fight. Talking about John Gilmore Smith though in the 71, that's something else we need to point out right now, because Kreutz is falling away here off of the back of this one here in 5th position. His last lap a 32.5, a 32.3 this time for Gilmore Smith, 32.7 for Kreutz, 0.4 of a second. Gilmore Smith is coming into his own element.
Yep, and this is a thing we've seen before from John Gilmore Smith. He's really an expert at saving the tyres on these Xfinity cars, and you just see that he's got the tire life in the tyres at this stage in the race to be able to catch right up to the back of Brandon Kreutz. Brandon Kreutz, remember, he was running near the front of the start of this race just 21 laps ago, and now he's falling back through the field, took a bit too much out of his tyres, and against the tyre-saving expert like John Gilmore Smith, I think this is going to be inevitable.
Maybe so right now. As you can see, they're all running high right now, looking to try and find as much grip as they possibly can. Chad Coleman making those runs that he needs to right now, and that is going to be key then, as we got that train of 3 breakaway right now. Gilmore Smith to the inside then of the 93 of Kreutz. Then he will look then to try and get himself up inside that top 5 in the 71 machine. He gets himself low, which hasn't seemed to have worked so far in terms of getting it, but now here in this run, he keeps himself down onto the bottom. Maybe trying to run that high line is what Kreutz is trying to think of right now. You can see just how much Gilmore Smith has slowed up then in this instance. He again takes that low line, has no other opportunity, but now he gets the nose clear, and now he gets the position on lap 23. John Gilmore Smith gets himself up then into position number 5, and actually you saw there, Kreutz riding up almost into the wall a little bit. All momentum gone. Here comes Dale Stanley.
Yep, Kreutz is not really having a great first stint of it as he goes towards the white line in 3 and 4. Dale Stanley just pushing up the track a little bit, trying to get the run off of the corner. But yeah, Brandon Kreutz has dropped like a stone throughout this field. He's taking way too much life out of his tires, and now he's coming under threat from those that I've saved.
Yeah, they certainly are right now. Keep an eye again, though, on this battle for second position. Chad Coleman then is there on the back. The gap when they last crossed the line, a 1/10.5 of a second. Nothing going to happen then into 3. Nothing going to happen then through turn number 4 as they continue on their march right now. You can see here Coleman trying to get underneath the toe, and now he gets that toe, and now he needs to use it as well as he possibly can. You can see the gap from the leader then. It actually closed down a little bit by merely fractions then during that last lap there. The difference, 12 thousandths of a second says difference, but now Chad Coleman then was the fastest of the 3. He'll now try and look to the inside, and again, he can't quite do it right now, but what he is doing is he's helping to rubber in, he's helping to get that slipstream line, and what he can do there in that situation here, Connery, is he can look to push further with crest forward. Maybe a little bit of bump drafting might come into effect if he does get that overspeed and doesn't want to be too much of a factor for this title challenge. Right now, if he does get himself involved, and if he does put himself into a situation where there is another little bit of misdemeanor contact, let's just say he won't be the most liked person in the garage.
No, he won't, and we have to remember that Chad Coleman isn't in this championship. He did not qualify for the chase due to the amount of races that he had done before the chase came into effect. So Chad Coleman, even though he has a pace to run up front with these guys, not in the chase currently. This isn't really his championship, but you can't blame him for going for the race win.
Yeah, and look at this, almost trying to go 3 wide. Dale Stanley on the outside, and you got Mark Day there down on the inside. Brandon Kreutz, the bottleneck in all of this, you can see there. Also in there is Mike Thompson and Simon Thorns, then 5-car train then looking to try and get themselves in, and if they keep battling this hard, they'll allow Stefan Vong back into this battle right now. You can see now Day takes the advantage on that outside. Kreutz struggling on the inside then. You can see there Stanley trying to find a way through on the outside. Not going to happen. Has to lift out of it there. Coming into the corner. That's going to allow Thompson then in the 76 chase challenger. He was at one stage then last time out. Not anymore then. He's looking at the inside here at Las Vegas. He's going to keep himself side by side for the moment, Connery.
Yes, they are, as they take it side by side coming across the start-finish line. Mike Thompson in 76 very loose on that apron. He just drops that position to the 55 as actually he'll gain it back in the middle of the corner on that low line. 76 working that one well. They'll still take it too wide coming onto the back straight. The number 51 of Simon Thorns behind may also play a factor if these guys slow up a little bit too much. Watch the 55 look towards the top of the track, trying to find some grip, but that 76 working oh so well on that low line right now.
Crest has given the position to Coleman though. Battle for second position there. That was as easy as it comes then for Chad Coleman, who will now try and work to push back then on Corey Silver right now as things stand lap 29. So maybe potentially the 3-stop strategy starts to come into effect around about now here, Connery. If anyone decides to go for it, this might be the big key. Joshua Medlock in the 6th. I've just seen him come down onto the lane. He needs to try it right now, but side by side, Kreutz on the outside. Here comes the driver of Mike Thompson then on the inside. They need to get around quick here because they're losing time then to that driver there of Mark Day there ahead in the 43, who's made some great little progress so far.
Yes, he has, as they still head too wide, coming down into turn 1. Kreutz on the outside, Mike Thompson on the inside as that 76 has been working that low line well all day. Here comes Simon Thorns in the number 51, trying to make his way past the number 93 of Brandon Kreutz. The 55 behind Dale Stanley also has a run, but he won't get involved just yet. He just follows number 53 up the track. Simon Thorns still trying to make that inside line work, and Kreutz, those tires are really struggling.
Yeah, those tyres really are going off, and I have to feel that maybe a 3-stop strategy might be best to try and save face, take a gamble. It might be worth it right now. Evan Black in the 8 then here. He's managed to get himself then into 3rd position because it's that driver, Chad Coleman then, who's got himself up onto the lane. So he is taking that strategy call right now here, and that's a key factor here, Connery. He's the first to come in down onto the lane. So now everyone looking here at Chad Coleman, thinking he's not a rival for the championship, so it shouldn't really matter. What it has done, though, it means that Crest is pretty much exposed in the open here. Now he's got to do the work on his own.
Yes, he is, and that battle still continues between Kreutz, Stanley, and Simon Thorns as they head their way across the start-finish line for the 31st time onto lap 32. And also Stefan Wang, he's also on the back of this straight in that number 85 car. He may also play a factor in this fight as Dale Stanley pushes up the track, grazes the wall, sparks fly off of that Xfinity Series car as Brandon Kreutz will make his way down the inside of turn 3, taking that low line. Dale Stanley just washes up the track a little bit. He'll come under threat from the 85, but not off the corner. He gets a better run.
Yes, he does, and he uses that toe just ahead then of Kreutz, and he will be looking to try and cut out mistakes like that. There is no fast repair in this series. Once you're damaged, that's it. Game and over it will be right now. You can see right now one driver currently classified as out, well, 2 drivers out of this event. Chris Kniefel then didn't set a time, didn't set to the track. Jeremy Funk out then here, as you can see. Kreutz struggling here as he gets himself down to the inside here, and again he'll lose that position initially, but no, he drops himself down onto the lane. The face has been saved completely then in terms of that. Mike Thompson looking at Mark Day with a little bit of green eye envy. Also look out for the driver of Evan Black right now in the 8. He's got John Gilmore Smith all over the back of him right now.
Yes, he does, and John Gilmore Smith is just making his way up the field slowly but surely. He started in 7th place. He's up into 4th. That's a net gain of 3 positions. In fact, not the biggest mover in your field so far. That will go to Simon Thorns, currently running in the 7th position, having qualified in the 12th place. Just look at the run that John Gilmore Smith gets off of turn 4. Evan Black will come under threat, maybe coming down to turn 1 if John Gilmore Smith is brave enough to sling one down the inside. They do take different lines. Evan Black all the way to the wall, just a foot away from the wall. John Gilmore Smith hugging that white line, perhaps half a car off it as he comes off of the corner. So it's great to see these different lines working.
Yeah, these different lines coming into effect, and we were talking about Gilmore Smith coming back into this race, and he certainly is right now. Again, takes the low line, trying to get that run sorted, and for the moment can't quite sort it out right now. Again, he tries, but he doesn't quite get the overlap. Crest closing in inch by inch now. That gap down from what was a second once again to now 0.8 of a second. Day and Thompson. Thompson tries the high line then, looking into the corner. That's not going to work on Mark Day. Day a little bit too wise to it, who runs that low line, maybe an undercut. Could be potential as he looks to try and edge up the track. Not going to happen here for the moment. Then battle for 5th and 6th, then heating up right now. But keep your eye again though here at John Gilmore Smith. He's down the inside, and Evan Black's got no answer to it now. He's falling away, and so is his title challenge just for the moment. Better run off the exit though. Here he comes back again.
Yeah, but he just lifts out of that one. He knows he has the tyre disadvantage because John Gilmore Smith is so good at saving these tyres. Evan Black just dropping back through the field as they both run an intermediate line coming through 1 and 2. Looking at that battle between the 43 and the 76 though, still getting very close. Mike Thompson is going to get a very slight run coming off the corner. If he's brave, he can sling one down the inside of turn 3 right here. No, just stays behind just for now as Mark Day just goes a little bit too deep. This will give the run to the 76 in the middle of the corner as he's going to take it side by side coming off of turn 4.
Yeah, great work, Dennis. He looks to try and work it again. A little bit of a pinch trying there from Mark Day. He can't give him any room there because not choosing to run the apron there was the driver of Mike Thompson in the 76. He will look himself then down in, and you can see then drivers looking at themselves thinking when is the best time to come in. Leland Bordage has got himself through then on Dale Stanley. You can see now making his way through is Brandon Kreutz then, who's now trying to get past the lap traffic to get himself back into position right now as things stand. Logan Crest then has come down in from 2nd position right now, Connery. A big move then. Silver then will be the driver most exposed right now on old tyres.
Yep, first one to blank, and it is a scheduled stop. We're on about lap 38, lap 39. That is sort of the area that we expect your drivers to come down pit road for the 2 stops. Stefan Wang is also down on pit road. You just saw Mike Thompson just get past Mark Day right there. So Mark Day is down 1 position. Will Day be able to reply coming down to turn 3? I don't think so. 76 with the faster car at this stage. Now we've got to consider when is Corey Silver going to head pit road. The answer to that question is actually now, right immediately as he heads past the yellow cones. John Gilmore Smith stays out, trying to extend that stint with the tyre saving that he's been doing. Evan Black also on pit road as well.
Yeah, they're all starting to come in right now, lap 39, which means that the driver who will inherit the lead and overall will eventually be the driver, Chad Coleman, then on that different strategy. Cress out and away. Half a lap then is what things stand, but we saw it at Auto Club. Those tyres go off incredibly quickly. That gap comes down incredibly quickly. That's something to keep a little eye on then as Vong comes out of pit road right now as things stand. You can see Black and Silver, the two rivals there together, and out comes Corey Silver. Evan Black, though, will be a little bit further away, waiting right now. Now he finally gets himself out and away. You can see that difference in time then, and that's the difference he has to make in terms of his chase. Where is the driver then of what is Logan Cress as things stand? The answer is still behind, and still behind by a little fair bit, but look at the distance he closes in. He will manage to get himself then back to a similar sort of gap right now, Connery. That 1 lap difference there, a very good cover then by the driver of Corey Silver.
Yes, it really was. A couple more drivers down onto pit road, getting their tyres changed, fuel going in. That is John Gilmore Smith, Mark Day, and Leon Baudage as well. Down pit road as John Gilmore Smith will head his way out of pit road past the green cones. He'll have to get up to speed relatively quickly. But yes, Corey Silver basically in the lead of this race right now. It's going to be Chad Coleman as he comes across lane. Remember, he's on a different strategy. So when these strategies converge at the end of the race, that will be when things get interesting.
Dale Stanley is one of those drivers then staying out on these tyres. He's there on lap 42, hasn't yet come in. Just seen Evan Black then just go straight past him, and again he's looking to stay out for another lap. Dale Stanley trying to go for a longer one here. I feel it's a little bit detrimental to what he's trying to achieve right now here, Connor. You can try and stay out, but the whole point of it is he is losing a lot of time, and if he thinks he can get track position back, he thinks that maybe there is not much going to do. Crest then onto the back of Silver. The battle for the championship then is still hotting up.
Yes, it is. They're very close as they come out of turn 4 on lap 42, heading on to lap 43 right now. Corey Silver just coming under threat from the number 30. And I don't know how this is going to turn out because Silver, he has the better tyres by 1 lap as Mike Thompson actually heads his way down pit road. But look at Logan Cress. He gets a good run coming out of turn 2. He may be able to challenge coming down into turn 3. He'll have to take the outside line. Corey Silver, very, very defensive coming into the entry to the corner. Let's see what the number 30 can do off of turn 4 right now. It's just a dead heat.
It's a dead heat for the moment. We've got to remember, though, Logan Cress is very good in these opening laps, but once it starts to middle out, it hasn't been working as much for him. Silver, though, still holds the advantage then in this battle, continuing on for 4th and 5th on circuit as things stand. Maybe not exactly net as things stand right now. Brandon Kreutz is just behind them as well and is there on track position, also on that strategy, down to the inside. Logan Cress looking to try and get that position, but for the moment it's not going to happen for him. Just doesn't have enough of a run coming out to the corner. It's a good defense then by Silver as things stand. This battle for your BBJ SimRacing race for the championship is continuing on, and in a very emphatic fashion here, Connery.
Yep, Corey Silver taking that 3rd lane. He's going to cut down a little bit coming off the corner, trying to carry as much momentum as possible as Logan Cress just hugging that white line. Again, dead heat coming off of the corner. Change for the race lead. Chad Coleman now for the race lead, again on a different strategy. Dale Stanley still out on what is 45 lap old tyres right now. If he's going to try and make a 1-stop, which I don't think will work, but if he's going to try it, he's going to have to come down at around lap 58, but I don't think it's going to work.
It might not work, but you know, you've got to try and do something crazy to hope that something works right now. If he can do 58 laps on those set of tyres, then fair play to him, fair credit. Chad Coleman then lap times when he comes across. This is just to be a sort of reminder then of just how difficult this seems to be. He does a 31.8 then here on his tyres that he's been working on for quite a fair while right now. You look at the likes of Silver and Cress, the last time they came across the line, they were 0.4 of a second quicker on that last lap. The tyre drop off then not potentially as much, a 31.3 that time by then for Silver and for Cress as well. They're starting to pick up that pace just a little bit. Evan Black on his own needs a little bit of help. You can see though, in terms of this one, as it has sorted itself out right now, this is how your field looks. Coleman leads. Stanley has yet to come down for a pit stop. Then you've got Silver and Crest then battling for the championship. Brandon Kreutz, he's also on that strategy difference change there, Connery. And Evan Black there in 6th position. Doesn't have John Gilmore Smith to help him. He's dropped behind now by about 9-10 seconds then to Silver and Crest's challenge. He will really need a caution to get himself back into it.
either a caution or these two cars of Silver and Crest to have some sort of instant together, it can be very likely they're on almost the same piece of tarmac as actually a lap ago. They did take it too wide coming through 3 and 4. Logan Crest still not able to get past that number 27 machine though. Currently there's still Chad Coleman, Dale Stanley still out in that second place on those very, very old tires. Here comes Logan Crest coming out turn 4. Will he make the move coming down to turn 1? I don't think he's going to be close enough. We may see a line difference here. Yeah, Logan Crest just taking a higher entry into the track, cutting down towards the bottom, trying to get the run off the corners. Corey Silver slides up the track a little bit. There was just drifting out that back end. But again, there's nothing to choose between these two guys right now.
No, there certainly isn't, and what I'm starting to think now here, Connor, is maybe the game of strategy starting to come into effect. It's a game of chess out there, and maybe Logan Crest is just waiting behind here, making Silver do the work, so maybe that Corey Silver, who did come in 1 lap later, will be using up more of his fuel potentially than Logan Crest is right now, and that will come into effect then and would mean that Corey Silver would come in earlier than he would like to right now, with Logan Crest being able to go later because he's saving on that fuel. Those 2 laps could be all the difference when it's all said and done here, Connery. It might not work in terms of getting himself in track position in terms of time out on circuit, but time on pit lane, that could be the key.
That could be the case, Jake. And also you have to remember, running that slightly higher line, slightly arced line for the number 30 is going to be saving his tyres as well. So his tyres may be in much better condition than Corey Silver's come towards the end of the race. But actually that time Corey Silver is going to head towards the middle lane. Logan Crest is going to head towards the bottom of the racetrack. And again, they're so close at this stage. But Crest in the number 30 still just not able to get past this. He's got to find something else.
Yeah, and here comes Dale Stanley just ahead of them in the 55, and he is trying that one-stop. 51 laps then on the tyres, and you can see starting to fall away from him a little bit right now. You can see he's going to get absolutely swamped then. He'll stay high then and make sure he stays out of the way of this one then. So very easily through then go the drivers of Silver and the drivers of Crest as well, as they look to chase down Chad Coleman then as things stand. He's had a little bit of traffic to deal with. Mike Thompson has managed to latch onto the back of him there, which is probably not what he wants in this situation here. Thompson now will be looking to try and get through. Last time by was 0.6 of a second's difference right now. Coleman now starting to struggle then on this 3-stop.
Yes, he is. You have to remember that he's on around about 10 laps older tyres than the rest of the guys on the 2-stop, as Dale Stanley finally heads his way down pit road. 52 laps done. That's going to be a shorter stint than he was gonna have to do to try and make it on 1 stop. I don't know if the fuel will make it to the end for Dale Stanley from here, so we will have to keep an eye on that one. But looking back towards this fight between Logan Crest and Corey Silver, that gap has stretched out just a little bit.
Yeah, it has just a little bit, and the fuel won't manage here is the word that we're hearing right now. That gap comes down into the leaders under 9 seconds now. It stands right now, the 2 strategies coming into play. Crest then just playing the waiting game then as we sit in the mid part of our 115 lap race here around Las Vegas Motor Speedway right now. The BBJ SimRacing race for the championship in full effect right now. Silver, Crest and Black. Caution flag flies. First caution here, and it's Evan Black involved with Joshua Medlock. Huge news then. Evan Black could be out then here of the chase, of the championship even, I should say right now. He'll have to take a tow, have to take the damage. First caution of the day.
Oh, and that was caused by Joshua Medlock not holding the brakes after he had his own spin. He just, he held the brakes initially, but then rolled up the track on the back straight straight into the path of Evan Black. Nothing really Evan Black could have done right there. And oh, what a way to go out of the championship with a caution like that.
Yeah, and it's a very frustrating one. It means we slow everything down again, and it means that advantage that Chad Coleman had, where you can pretty much say wipe that one from the slate. Drivers then will be looking to try and get themselves down to the lane. Everybody then decides that it's time to go down onto the lane. Dale Stanley stays out. He's the driver who will benefit the most in this situation. Remember, he was the last to stop here, Connery. That's so crucial in this situation, because it means that staying long on those tyres means he now gets track position. He now effectively leads the race.
Yeah, that really did work out in Chad Coleman's favor as he gets very, very close to sliding his box right there, but he manages to get in relatively safely as those right side tires go on. These left side tires will go on the fuel going in as well. Who's going to win the battle off of pit road? Chad Coleman, we suspect, but there goes the number 27, actually getting a much better exit off of his pit box. Corey Silver will be your leader for this restart.
And even more crucially, there is a car between Silver and Cress as things stand. So now Corey Silver has a little bit of a buffer. A driver who has stayed out then on the leading lap is the driver at the 43. Mark Day then has kept himself out on the lane right now. He's kept himself out on circuit and will now hold an advantage then over the rest of the field as things stand. Kreutz all over the back then of the driver of Logan Cress then as things look to get in. We're going to step aside for one moment. We'll be back after this. You're watching this, your Thursday Xfinity Series, the BBJ Sim Racing Race for the Championship. Lights out on top of the pace car, lap 59. We will get ourselves back underway on here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. This is your Thursday Xfinity Series. This is your BBJ Sim Racing Race for the Championship. One contender has run into issues. That's the 8 of Evan Black. He's down on the lane. That's the reason for this first caution. We went 50 plus laps then without caution right now. Corey Silver will lead the field then as the pace car will come in. His challenger Logan Cress is in third position. Watch out for Chad Coleman there on the front row as well. It will be held. It will be a long hold waiting for that green flag. And let's get ourselves then underway again. And they're going to try and get ourselves going then. And it will get going here. It's a long wait from Corey Silver right now. We'll get pushed by the driver of Logan Cress then as they head towards 1 and 2 once again. And Cress is going to take that inside, take it away from Chad Coleman then. And that's very, very crucial then. It means there won't be too much dramas elsewhere. Brandon Kreutz then back then into third position fighting here with the driver of Chad Coleman right now. A very nice clean start there, Connery. But you can see Chad Coleman was so desperate to get going that he got a little bit bogged down.
Yes, he did, as he takes the fight with Brandon Kreutz coming out of turn 4 as they head too wide, coming across the stripe. Remember, Brandon Kreutz is very, very good on these short runs, but if this run goes any longer than 20 laps, then he'll start to drop back. If history is going to repeat itself, as he still takes the low line, coming in through 1 and 2. Will we see the challenge for the lead? Logan Kress will have a look on the outside, coming down into turn 3, but no, just stays behind just for now, as they still battle behind them.
Yeah, you can see here side by side the battle for the final spot then on top of the podium. Then Brandon Kreutz there with the driver of Chad Coleman. Coleman and Kreutz, both of them went for the 2-tyre call. In the end, it didn't work out, but they got a little bit fortunate in terms of the safety car that came out. And again, Kress has a little look, and just like last time then, couldn't find a way past Corey Silver. Will have less laps to do it now. Needs to find it. Now you can see that run coming out the corner then for Chad Coleman. He will get himself then into 3rd position, and now looking all over the back. Thread the needle, let's go. And a little bit of a back out there from Kreutz as he gets himself all shapes are wrong coming out of 4.
Yeah, there's a very hopeful move from Kreutz. He looked for the gap, but the gap was not open. Just slides up the track, loses a couple of tenths of a second. John Gilmore Smith will be the driver, currently in that 5th place right now that Kreutz may come under threat from. But your top 3 all over each other. Here comes Logan Kress for the race lead, for the championship lead. Chad Coleman also there wanting the race lead, gets stalled on that outside line by the 27 as your 2 leaders, your 2 championship contenders at this stage in the race head too wide through 3 and 4.
Yeah, now it's crucial here. Now it's about who wants to take that advantage, and Chad Coleman just wants a win. He wants to spoil the party. He did it autoclub. He wasn't part of the chase. He still took the win anyway. He might do the same again here tonight. You can see right now into 1 and 2, lap 63 then of your 115 lap event. Kress looking to try and get all over the back of Corey Silver, and for the moment, not quite happening for Kress. It's very similar to what happened last time. Coleman, though, will be looking for that advantage here, and he's snaking. He's looking for any sort of way to get past the 30, and for the moment, it's not happening for him. And we do know here, the longer this goes, the worse that Kress gets here, and it might be a case of Chad Coleman even there trying to make it a when more than an if.
Yeah, definitely. Chad Coleman's going to take that more middle line coming through 1 and 2. Here comes Logan Kress, gets the run off of the corner on the 27. He's going to head 2 wide, coming down into turn 3 yet again on this run, but again does not make it successful. Here comes the 20 on the outside line though, coming through to turn 4. He will take it 2 wide, coming down the pit straight.
Yeah, and here we go. You can see there just behind that, you can see the driver of Brandon Kreutz trying to get into it. Let's see up to second then. Chad Coleman gets it, and now the inside line tries Brandon Kreutz here, and it's starting to fall away a little bit from Logan Kress. Now he's starting to play the strategy game. Needs to stop hemorrhaging positions, just needs to stay behind. Coleman wants the race lead then, down to the inside on 65, and he'll look at it, will a 20 on the 27, and will hope to try and get that position. For the moment, it's not quite happened for him. No, not yet. We'll have to do it in through 1 and 2, and for the moment you can see just isn't happening. Doesn't have enough of a run, but we'll try and use that inside high line. Let's go for Corey Silver, and you know what? They're going to remain 2 by 2 here, Connery.
Yeah, the number 27 almost pushing to the wall. Will we see 3 wide? All we are thinking about is Logan Kress just tried to look for a gap on that 20 car. He had a good run coming off the corner, and due to Chad Coleman having to run an altered line through turn 1 or 2, that meant he wasn't as quick off the corner as they head out of turn 4, coming to complete lap 66 of this 115 lap race here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Kreutz is also behind these top 3 as well. Maybe we have to see what he can do. Remember, he's good on these short runs, but as this run goes on and on, like Logan Kress, he's going to drop off down the back of the field as we see Chad Coleman again going to try on turn 3 on Corey Silver. Will he make it successful this time?
That's going to be the question. He is there down on the inside, and maybe Silver just thinks that, you know what, I can afford to let you go. My championship fight is to do with Logan Kress. It's not to do with the driver of Chad Coleman, but a win is a win, and if you're not first, you're last is the famous proverb that we hear so often right now. To the outside again, he's going to try and rubber in that high line even more. Then he try and use that to his advantage, get the run out of the corner, as in rather to into the corner, and you know what, he gets the line then that he so richly wanted, and he'll stay ahead for the time being right now. Keep an eye out on this battle going on further back. Gilmore Smith struggling a little bit. Mark Day behind him. Simon Thorns there as well in the 51 right now as things stand. This battle then going on for 6th position right now as things stand right now, and we know Gilmore Smith good on the long run here. Worked in his favour, now starting to work against him.
Yes, he must have made a mistake or tapped the wall somewhere because he was running in that 5th place. Dale Stanley is now currently in that 5th place as we still go side by side for the race lead yet again. Chad Coleman making his way down the inside. This is the best chance he's had so far. Will he get a note in front? Yes, he will. Very, very tight off of turn 4. Corey Silver looking to reply. He's all over the back bumper, just giving it a few taps. Will he sling it one down the inside? Coming into turn 1, we'll have to wait and see, but no, he just backs out of it. Can't afford to be fighting at this stage as Logan Cress now smells an opportunity against his championship rival. Gets a slight run off of turn 2. Will he make it down into turn 3? No, he's not going to try just yet.
Not just yet. He needs to get that run through the mid part of the corner. He does not. Needs to get the run now off the end of the corner, but there will be toe available with Chad Coleman just ahead. Now it's a case of second versus third. Whoever finishes higher, remember, takes the win between Silver and Cress in terms of the overall championship as things stand. Again, Kreutz is determined to keep that inside line working in his favour, and for the moment that favour just simply hasn't been working for him. He's been stuck at the back of this pack the entire time, but we do know something, and that something is it might come to play into his favour the more that this goes on. We're currently on lap 72 then when we will next cross the line here out of 115 as things would stand then, if my maths is correct. 43 laps then will be left to the end of the race. I believe there will have to be one more stop, maybe try and make it go for a no stop here. Might be the gamble here, Connery, but it's a pretty big gamble at that if anyone does try to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very close on fuel. We just saw earlier on in the race that Dale Stanley managed to make it around about 53 laps on his very, very long stint. Luckily, that caution did come out for him, so he didn't lose too much time as a result for attempting that one-stop strategy. But fuel saving may be important if these drivers decide not to do another stop for the rest of this race. But with the tyre wear the way it is, I expect most of them to come down once.
Yeah, that seems to be the key, as you can see already. Now they're going up high, and there's in the wall Corey Silver. Silver then will lose momentum. He'll lose second. He'll lose third as well, and he'll drop himself back. One title error, and that's the big one then from Corey Silver. Keeps himself going, but those are the margins there, Connery. That's what we see. One little tap, and that does you 2 positions. He's got to do the work all over again.
You also have to wonder, Drake, how much damage is on that number 27 machine. I'm looking at the front of it now. Right front wheel exposed to the air. That's not going to be helping him at all in terms of his aerodynamic prowess as he gets the back end just a little bit. Coming out of turn 2, he has to negotiate Brandon Kreutz if he's going to be anywhere near this front at the end of this run. He heads towards the inside. Kreutz, again, perhaps struggling with more tyre wear. We saw he was good early on in the run, just dropped back in the later parts of the run. Corey Silver will make his way by him only just as he heads his way back into that 3rd place, but he still has a couple of seconds to make up to get back to the front.
9/10 of a second to Logan Cress, then the gap between Cress and Silver as things stand. Cress is Chad Coleman just ahead, and if he makes the move, there's another car to negotiate then for the driver of Corey Silver. You feel though that Cress doesn't want to make the fight here, doesn't want to compromise his run through any of these corners, wants to try and run away then, using him as a little bit of a marker then. Gilmore Smith falling back, Leolam Bordage then in the 17 will look to try and make his way through. He's +3 for the day as things stands right now. He's all over the back looking to try and make his way through then here in the 17 machine. Battle for 7th position on circuit, you can see, tries to make the cut to the inside, has to back out of it there, and takes a little bit later then to get himself actually turned in and point the nose into the corner. That sacrifices all the run, and that's why that move will not happen again for another few laps as things stand right now. But you can see Logan Cress here in the 30. He is pushing this one here. He wants to run with Coleman. Coleman wants a win. Cress wants a title. There's the 2 differences here, and maybe we go to the old moniker of Alain Prost here, the driver who does only what he needs to win the title, not to go for the race win, but only what is required of him to win.
Yes, and that 3rd place driver, Silver, only half a tenth slower than Logan Cress that time by, so that damage doesn't seem to be affecting him too much, but I guess he would be changing the handling of that car as he goes around this Las Vegas Motor Speedway circuit, as Logan Cress still all over the back of that number 20 of Chad Coleman. He doesn't need this position right now. If the race were to end, he will be crowned champion at the end of this, but as a race car driver, he's going to be wanting that race win.
Yeah, he certainly does, and I have to wonder here if Logan Crest just wants to get out in some clean air. Maybe he's getting a little bit frustrated behind Chad Coleman because he knows just how quick he can be going on his own. He knows that Chad Coleman just ahead is just one more potential risk that he doesn't really want to be taking right now. Out of 4, then he goes. Now I want to talk about strategy again here, Connery. Does Corey Silver come down earlier than Logan Crest in this situation? Get that track position, get that undercut as things stand, so that he can get himself that extra second that he can to get himself back with Logan Crest, even though he will have one lap worse tyres off.
You say that though, but Corey Silver just did go around about 700ths of a second faster than Logan Crest that time by, so maybe he's finding somehow a little bit of speed in that relatively damaged 27 to try and close that gap, or Logan Crest is just being held up behind your race lead.
Yeah, that might be the key here right now. Chad Coleman, we know, was trying to run that 3-stop strategy, didn't like it then on the older tyres, so he might decide to go down in early and try and play the game again. It will be about who blinks first, who will try and get track position right now as things stand. Silver's lap time not as good, lost a 10.5 that time by. That will be crucial then here as he starts to lose the tails of the draft here that he so wants, and actually here he's slowing down. It looks like he's coming down in. This is the strategy call then that we're talking about then. Corey Silver goes for it. Look at eyes on Crest then. Will he cover the move? That's the question, Connery.
Yes, that is a very, very early stop for Corey Silver. He can make it to the end here on fuel if he so chooses. So that's an aggressive strategy from the driver of number 27. Out on track though, battle between the 43 and the 51 coming off of turn 2. That's Mark Day on the inside, Simon Thorns on the outside, as Simon Thorns will just get by the entry of turn 3, but number 43 is going to reply on the inside.
Yeah, 30 stays out then, so this is going to be a conscientious call. Thorns in the 51, gets himself around the outside. Day can't do anything about it. Behind him, the 17, Leland Bourdage, then he's got himself through on John Gilmore Smith right now. Out and away then, looking to get away, is that driver then of Corey Silver even. And the crucial thing is, he has a little bit of draft to work with here in the forms of Gilmore Smith and co. You will need to try and negotiate that as quickly as he can. He has the fresh rubber to work with it. He will be able to make it to the end, but the question will be, when will Crest come in and when will Coleman come in? In terms of this win, it all comes down to how much those tyres will go off come the end of the stint for Corey Silver, and if there is another caution in this race. We've already had one so far today, Connery.
Yep, and that stop was also important because if you look at the right front wheel arch of that number 27 machine, the mechanics in the pit lane have pulled that wheel arch back over the tyre, so that's going to mean that the damage is not going to be affecting him as much as he did, so that could be very, very important. Mark Day, slow on the bottom of the racetrack, no caution, but he's very slow, damage to the rear end of that 43.
Oh, what a shame there for the 43 then. Let's just see exactly how that one then has come about for him. And it is a spin. He clipped the wall coming out of 4. No one else involved. Bourdage lucky to not collect him. He spins it down onto the apron. So no caution was called. No one else at risk. Day then comes down onto the lane right now as things stand. It's a leading train of 2 then. Coleman and Crest. One of these drivers then needs to go then, because coming into his own is Corey Silver. I only wonder here in this situation, Connery, whether Corey Silver has had to take extra time on that lane to fix the damage that was already there. If he has, then he'll have to be working doubly as hard to try and get himself back into that situation. It is possible to close it all down. It might be possible for him to really, really put the pedal to the metal as things stand.
Yeah, I don't really think he took some extra time on pit road. His pit stop time looks nominal for a pit stop in these Xfinity cars. So that must have been a little bit of damage you get repaired during the pit stop. It ticks down, not by seconds damage there's when the pit stop is going on, by about a few tenths of a second. So that may be what's helping him right here. Logan Crest still all over the back of that number 20. He must be getting pretty frustrated right now since he knows that Corey Silver is on that very, very aggressive undercut strategy.
Yeah, he is right now. Bourdage and Thorns then, they're looking to go at it right now. Battle for 4th position, currently out on circuit, not representative, looking for the inside. Not going to happen for Bourdage there. Thorns looks to go high, and the leaders are in. Both of them need to cover right now. As you can see, there is the release then for the driver of Corey Silver. He's now got to find the lap of his life right now as Coleman and Crest look to try and find their boxes right now as the battles continue on then here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. The development here as Silver heads himself around turn number 2. Gets himself onto the back straight. Now you look at Corey Silver. He needs to find a gap. About 10 seconds, I would think, in this situation would be good enough for him for the win. Potentially 5 as well if he's been pushing hard enough as things stand right now. And you can see here it's a waiting game to get out. Here comes the driver then of Corey Silver. He will get himself to try and go past. He does go past. But the crucial thing is, how far back is Cress? He only just now gets himself going again. By my reckoning, 7-8 seconds here is the gap here, Connery. It needs to be closed here from Cress if he is to take this one overall.
Yeah, just looking at the relative timings just creep up. It's up to about 7 seconds now. The gap between Logan Cress and that driver of Corey Silver. So 7 seconds is the gap that Logan Cress has to make up on those much, much fresher tires. And a couple more drivers down on pit road. John Gilmore Smith thinking it's a good time to pit. Stefan Wang also pitting. One driver has not pitted yet, though. That is the car of Simon Thorns.
Yeah, Simon Thorns has yet to come down in. So has Leoland Bordage. As things stand right now, these two are going to try and stick it out as long as they possibly can. They will have to come down in at some stage and try and minimise time on the lane. That's going to be the key factor then for these drivers as they look to push themselves a little bit further forward right now as things stand. Corey Silver now moves up to 5th position overall. Don't count out the driver though, the 55, and Dale Stanley though. He will be a driver who will be looking to try and maximise it as much as he can. He did it last time. He might look to try and do it again here in this situation here, Connery. It will be marginal on fuel, but if anyone's going to try it, Dale Stanley, well, he's the driver with absolutely nothing to lose right now.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those drivers that knows how the car is going to feel when it gets at the back end of this run. He's already done it once this race earlier on. He went to 53 laps. He's going to have to do a little bit more, find a little bit more in that fuel tank to try and get towards the end of this race. As I said, it's going to be very, very marginal, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's just lifting and coasting into these corners right now, trying to get it to the end. Leoland Bordage is going to come and take this race lead as he gets past Simon Thorns on the track.
Yeah, and he's looking for the cutback there as he just migrated up behind that. The driver trying to get through, unlap himself is Brandon Kreutz in a 93, already come down in for the stop. And now he gets a little bit caught up, then has to hit the brakes. Oh, a little bit of a tap then to the back of Thorns. Says, I want to get through as badly as I can. And at the moment, no thank you, says Simon Thorns. He'll have to wait behind for a little bit. Leoland Bordage then given a little bit of breathing room then in this situation. Through will go Mark Day on Dale Stanley as he looks to slow down. Still has that gap now, but it is coming down here, Connery. It's now down to 5 seconds. 5 seconds, that's all it is, and it's coming down at a rate of knots. Cress is needing to find the laps of his life right now, and at the moment, it seems that he is finding them at 4/10 of the time.
Yes, he is. That rate of catching it will be Logan Cress going to be very, very close to Corey Silver, may even pass him before the end of this race. But if Logan Cress does get past Corey Silver, if you're Corey Silver, you're going to have to be hoping and praying for a caution.
Yeah, the caution will come in. It will be the great equaliser. It will allow another opportunity. And if that caution does come in here, we're coming in towards the last 20 laps, there becomes another issue here, Connery. 2 tyres or 4. That's the big gamble. 4 tyres, you're longer in the lane. 2 tyres, you're going to sacrifice your strategy over the terms of the long run. But you will be hoping that there are enough people there ahead of you so that you can make that 2 tyre call work.
The only situation where I see a 2-tyre call working is if we get a restart, and it will be the final restart of the race. If there's a caution within the last 5 laps of the race, that race will be called. We will call the results there. So if it's going to be the final restart of the race, you can definitely make that 2-tyre strategy work, get the track position, and just hope for a caution within a lap.
4 seconds then, the gap comes down again, lap 94 then here for the driver of Corey Silver out of 115, currently stands in position number 5 right now as he looks to chase down the drivers who have all yet to pit ahead of him. Mike Thompson, Simon Thorns, Leoland Bordage and Dale Stanley, not necessarily in race order there as I have just stated, but Corey Silver being chased right now. Logan Cress is looking at this BBJ SimRacing race for the championship. He is thinking there is a chance. The gap is down to 3.5 seconds. At this rate, there will be be a chance for Crest to make the overtake before the end of this one, and he will be looking to try and make it within the next 6 to 10 laps then, and it will be just too far away for the driver that he wants it in, of that driver of Corey Silver right now. Bordage will now lose the position to Mark Day. Here he will unlap himself in that situation. Thorns losing himself time. Thompson not close enough either right now. As you can see, Dale Stanley as well looking to make the push. Maybe that comes into effect here, Connery. The drivers here who they're needing to try and pass as quickly as they can. Dale Stanley first here for Corey Silver. Will be hoping that there's going to be a little bit of holding up then, as we saw with Kreutz earlier on.
Yeah, lap traffic may definitely play a factor in the result of this race, in the result of this championship. We will just have to wait and see. We're on to lap 97 right now, and things are going to be getting very, very close for Corey Silver and Logan Crest relatively soon. They're both in the same corners right now, turn 1 and 2.
Yeah, turns 1 and 2 right now. That gap has come down. It's now 2.7 seconds as things stand, and is closing and closing more and more. There is the driver of Dale Stanley just ahead. Silver can now use the toe then that comes off of him, and so crucially use it. He chooses not to though. That's very crucial then. As you can see, to the high side then will go Dale Stanley. He'll have to relinquish the position as he has done once already to the driver of Corey Silver. Thank you very and much. He will go, and now you can see Crest and bringing Coleman with him, which is even more crucial in this fight. If Coleman then has a little bit of contact with Logan Crest inadvertently, that could spell the end for Logan Crest as well. He does not want Chad Coleman on the rear of him.
Yeah, if there's something that Logan Crest doesn't want to see in his rearview mirror right now, it is that number 20 of Chad Coleman. Chad Coleman's already shown this so far this race. He doesn't really care for the championship. He wants to go for this race win, even though he won't get the championship win. He did not qualify for the chase. As we see them just get past Dale Stanley, that is for position. Here comes Chad Coleman, run off of turn 2, stalled a little bit for a great line from Logan Crest. A little bit of bump drafting coming down the back straight. Chad Coleman looking towards the inside, not going to get it just yet though, but this is what Corey Silver needs. He needs these two guys to be fighting. Ideally he wants them both to make contact, but right now still Chad Coleman behind.
Still Chad Coleman behind, but maybe he's working together. That gap is coming down. It's 1.2 seconds then, and he's running out of time here, and he's got 17 laps to hold on, and it feels a little bit too long away then for the driver of Corey Silver to really hold on to this one. You can see again though, into the left they come along here of 3 and 4, and again you can see it's closing visibly at every chance. Coleman has a little look to the inside. He now takes to the outside then as he can't close, and now he has been caught, and that is crucial in terms of this race right now, because Corey Silver's championship now is looking bleaker, and bleaker needs some help from Coleman on the inside. It's not coming at all, Connery.
No, not just yet, as they're very, very close on the back straight right now. Chad Coleman still behind. Logan Crest defending the position, but they're both reeling in. Corey Silver, they're absolutely nose to tail coming through turn 3 and 4. Chad Coleman towards the outside, and almost your championship contenders almost make contact. Logan Crest clips the grass a little bit, manages to keep it pointed in the right direction. They'll both make their way by the number 27 of Corey Silver. He has to be hoping for a caution at this point. If things end as they are right now, Logan Crest will be your championship winner.
Yeah, now it falls away from Corey Silver. Now he needs Lady Luck on his side. Shut up and put your money where your mouth is. That's what you get when you're driving around in Vegas right now. Coleman then behind Crest as Crest looks to push for Thompson, for Thorns, and for Leland Bordage, who leads this race as things stands on lap 103 out of 115. He's so close to the end, but that gap has come down. It's now 4.9 to the leader from Logan Crest right now, who is still pushing as hard as he can to get away from Corey Silver to ease the gap. Now he doesn't have to do anything. If he stays here, he wins the championship as things stands right now. And Connery, there's nothing much that anyone else can do. All the drivers ahead are playing the fuel game, and now they are being caught hand over fist. Look at the difference in times. 33.3 for your race leader. The difference of 31.9 for Logan Crest. 1.4 seconds a lap.
Yes, and that gap between Logan Crest and your race leader of Leland Bordage is currently down to around about 3 seconds and dropping off. Absolutely hemorrhaging time are the drivers currently out on that zero stop strategy from when we had the restart as they make their way around the outside of Mike Thompson. That is for position. So that Mike Thompson was one of those cars on that zero stop strategy that has now dropped away, and now Chad Coleman, Logan Kress, they're just going to have to make their way through on the final car, on the final few cars here. Simon Thorns and Leland Bordage. Simon Thorns will go to the top of the track. Just look at the difference in tires and difference in grip between these cars on the different strategies. Logan Kress will get the second place. He has the lead in his sights now.
Yes, he does, and that is Leland Bordage in the 17, and well, there's still the effect of Chad Coleman behind. Maybe that could play into effect then, and as he wants to get himself to the front, maybe he can in this situation. He's just been saving himself and waiting on this one. We can't call it complete just yet. We still have ourselves 11 laps plus, which could decide this race. In fact, I'll correct myself, 10 laps plus then, which could correct this one. Just another 15 miles to say if there is going to be any sort of changes. The gap down to 1.1, and it's a bold charge from Leland Bordage, but unfortunately he will be caught by Logan Kress, who has won so dominantly all season long, and here will be the pass for the race lead then. Logan Kress will take himself then to number 1. Chad Coleman in the 20 will follow very close behind. Into 1 then they go along, and there's a little look of the nose on the inside from Coleman. Now the gloves are off, and now he wants the race win. He's let Kress work. Now it's time for Coleman here to take all the credit, Connery.
Yes, it is less than 10 laps to go as they're on lap 107 right now, coming on to 108 as they head their way through turn 3 and 4. Logan Kress, he has to be thinking he has the championship almost in the bag. It's not all said and done yet. So he has to be very careful. Just keep it on the grey stuff. Perhaps just let Chad Coleman through at this point. If you're only concerned about the championship, let the 20 car through. He is under no threat whatsoever from the 27, but depending on his attitude, he might just be wanting this race win right now.
Yeah, it's not a case of multi-21, it's a case of multi-20 right now. Let Chad Coleman through potentially then to save any form of risk at all right now. Coleman all over the back, looking for a way through, and there's a little bit of a block there down to the inside. Kress still wants the championship win and the race win to boot. He wants to go to victory lane and take the title right now. Coleman down to the inside. He's got 1 win to his name in this championship and could potentially be a championship contender coming into next season right now. Looking to come then towards turn number 3 here. Timer running out, Connery, when they next cross the line. 6 to go.
Yes, and it's getting very close to that stage where if we have a caution, that will be the end of the race and the end of any chance of Corey Silva getting this championship win, as Chad Coleman looks towards the outside this time. Again, has to file in behind the number 30 of Logan Kress as they both take a very wide arc coming into turn 1 and 2. They have a lap traffic ahead of them. That's Mark Day having that single car incident coming off of turn 2. Just 20 or so laps ago, that's just put him back through the field. He's already 1 lap down. This will be 2 laps down for Mark Day. Logan Kress still ahead of the number 20 of Chad Coleman.
5 to go then as they cross the line. 7.5 miles to the end of the season here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway right now. The Thursday Xfinity Series coming to a close. As things stand, the BBJ SimRacing race for the championship then is heading into a dramatic showdown. Can Chad Coleman change anything for Logan Kress, meaning that Corey Silva can come back into it? That's going to be the question. Into the wall up high though goes the driver of Mark Day. He keeps himself up high. He does not lurch back down onto the track. That's a blessing then for the driver of Logan Kress in the 30. 1 less issue he has to deal with right now. Will there be any more traffic then with just 4 laps to go? Maybe Stefan Vong, but he's running around the same pace, so probably not. Now here, Connery, it's just about what Chad Coleman can do, and as things have stood, he has been helping out Kress so far this race.
The only thread of hope now for the 27 car is if this 30 car of Logan Kress gets involved in an incident with the number 20 of Chad Coleman. That's the only thing he has to rely on at this point, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Caution, caution, that's it! that is it. The championship will go to Logan Cress. He will win the Thursday Xfinity Series. A caution has been flown, and we'll try and find that one. Leolam Bordage then driving incredibly slow then, and it was Bordage then who got himself into the wall coming out of the corner, into the right and back up the circuit. That's what's caused the caution there, Connery, and that has been exactly what Logan Cress wanted. No real issues from Chad Coleman. He will take the title at Las Vegas.
We've perhaps been a little bit robbed of a grandstand finish right there due to that caution, but Logan Cress will not mind. He will be taking the this race and this championship. So well done to him, Chad Coleman, just giving a few love taps on the bumper, just saying well done as they're going to pace behind the pace car just for the final few laps right here. But Logan Cress will be your championship winner.
Yeah, he certainly will, and a fantastic effort that he's had all season to do that. He's been pushing harder and harder still, but you have to say commiserations to Corey Silver. He tried that strategy, he thought he could get it done, but in the end, maybe he just went for it and a little bit too far back to try and get it sorted. It didn't work for him, but you have to say it was a very commendable effort, but he was just caught a little bit too close to the end there, Connery.
It was also perhaps a strategy that he was forced into due to grazing the wall, getting that little bit of damage. He thought, at this stage, I kind of have to go very, very aggressive and hope a caution comes out, but it just came at exactly the wrong time for him. Inside of that 5 laps to the end means this race ends, and with him not in the championship winning position.
Yeah, certainly not, and he had control of the race though. He was ahead of Logan Cress in that situation. He couldn't do a mistake like that. He couldn't afford a mistake like that. One mistake dropped him back 9/10 of a second, a little bit of damage on the front right, and that was just enough to force the hand of the driver of Corey Silver. If he was ahead, it would be Logan Cress trying to do the daring strategy, and in the end though, here there will be the white flag coming out this time by one more lap to go then under this pace car right now. And what had to be said though, we can't forget the other driver who was fighting for this championship, who ran into issues earlier on here, Connery. The 8 of Evan Black found himself in the wall early on after the first caution with incidents with Joshua Medlock, and you have to feel if it wasn't for him getting into that incident though, where would he have been if the caution came out and he was still in the scrap looking for the race win?
Yeah, exactly there, Jake. And you kind of have to feel for that number 8 driver of Evan Black at this stage. There was really nothing or not a lot he could have done to avoid that incident. That was Joshua Medlock just lifting off of the brakes, just putting a little bit of throttle in it, just rolling the car up the track straight into Evan Black's path. And then, again, there was absolutely nothing he could have done. And that must be a very, very upsetting way to go out this championship.
Yeah, you have to feel for him. It hadn't had a win all season, had been there on consistency values of consistently putting in the 4th place or the 3rd place again and again and again. It paid off. He got himself into the final 3, but he had the opportunity robbed before he could get himself to the checker then of this race into the back straight then. They come along right now, excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, right now. But you have to say, though, it has been a deserving drive from Logan Cress. He was the first driver to book himself into the chase at that start of the season. He did do enough to win at Indianapolis if you cast your minds back, and he has certainly done enough here in this race to prove that he is a worthy champion. He staved off the challenge of Corey Silver. He capitalized on the one mistake that Silver made throughout his race here today, and he worked his socks off then during the final laps to make sure that he can get himself past and get himself to the win. He gets himself there in style, ladies and gentlemen, because your winner of your Thursday Xfinity Series will be Logan Cress in the number 30. A huge congratulations, with Chad Coleman then getting 2nd and Corey Silver getting 3rd. Connery, you couldn't put it any better. It's a fitting end for a fitting champion.
Yes, as you see some of your drivers just congratulating that number 30 of Logan Cress, Corey Silver on that inside right there. Brandon Cruz just giving a little bit of rear taps as they just bump his car all the way through turn 1 and 2. Logan Cress, we suspect, will come down to the front straight and burn it down. That is a fantastic championship win for that driver of the 30.
It certainly is. Let's get ourselves then official results then up on your screen. This is how the final race of the season has ended up. Logan Cress then in the number 30. He does it in style. He will take the race win here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He will become the Thursday Xfinity Series champion. He wins the BBJ even SimRacing race for the championship. Jack Coleman then comes home in second position, was running a rear gunner the entire way through. Corey Silver then will come home in third, trying the strategy, didn't pay off in the end. Simon Thorns is your biggest mover and shaker overall. He goes from 12th to 4th overall as the caution came out towards the end. Mike Thompson then comes home in 5th with Brandon Krutz in 6th. John Gilmore Smith then will finish home in 7th. Leon Bordage causes the issue to the end, and he will manage to get himself 8th place coming out of it. Dale Stanley tried the one-stop strategy early on. The caution came out. It affected him. He got himself back into it. He finishes 9th. The last car on the leading lap is Stefan Vong in the 85. Mark Day finishes 1 lap down. And then the drivers who failed to finish, Evan Black and Joshua Medlock, the same incident 61 and 62 laps ago. Jeremy Funk went out of his own accord, and failing to take the start was Chris Kniefel at the very end. We're going to step aside, ladies and gentlemen. Post-race coverage here of this, your Thursday Xfinity Series, will be coming to you after these few messages. Don't go away.
Hello everyone, this is Will Vincent from RaceSpotTV. Don't forget, round number 1 of the 2017 iRacing World Championship Grand Prix Series starts at Interlagos this Saturday, and it's also the home of the all-new RaceSpot Race Day. We've got coverage of the RaceSpotTV Formula Renault Cup. We've then also got ourselves the RaceSpotTV Super Cup, and then the first round of the World Championship Grand Prix Series, when we ask if Martin Kroenke will get himself 2 World Championships. Will Gregor Hutu go back to the top of the mountain, or will someone else get their first crown? It all starts at 11:20 a.m. this coming Saturday, and then the big race itself from 2 p.m. on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. Back to you, Jake.
Thank you very much, Will, as we stand here in post-race coverage here of this, your Thursday Xfinity Series. The race for the championship is all but said and done, and we're going to have the race winner join us right now. Logan, a championship there, a race win to victory lane you go, and for you, a case then that early on it seemed to go away from you, had the advantage, went away a little bit on that opening run, and you dropped about a second in time. Just what was going through your head through the opening stages?
I knew once I got out to like a second and a half lead that I was screwed. Corey likes to save tires, and I knew he was going to be coming hot at some point in that run. So I was actually surprised we kept it within a second there after he passed me. We kind of just stalled out. It was weird. He blew by me, and then he didn't even go anywhere with it. But I was happy that second run, right on his bumper. I was driving my race, just saving tires. And I didn't want to see that caution. I thought it was going to be a great race between me and Corey there.
Well, it certainly seemed to be a great race in that situation, but after the caution, though, you found yourself there, back on the rear bumper again, but we did see that one little tap with the wall. It does cost people here and there, and for you, you know, you took advantage of that. You managed to get yourself ahead of Corey Silver in that situation, so in that sense, a little bit of a blessing for you, but you had to do the work from behind to get yourself to the victory today.
I just talked to Corey. I didn't know what happened there because the way my car was positioned, I just saw him lose a bunch of speed and go behind me. But I was just looking back on it. I was happy I was a lane lower because if I was right on his bumper, I would have been screwed. I would have plowed right into him and had front end damage. So luckily we were a lane lower, and then Chad told me he was pitting there the same lap that I ended up going in on, and I'm like, I had no idea if we can make it on fuel, so I assumed Chad knew what he was doing, so I just copied his game plan, and luckily it worked.
Luckily it worked indeed, and for you, a victory here in the Thursday Xfinity Series. A brilliant job when all was said and done. And something to note then is celebrations. How will you be celebrating this title victory then this evening?
Probably taking a nap. I've had a headache like the past week, so probably a nap in the near future.
More mild than wild then, shall we say, for Logan Crescent, the number 30 victory and a championship. Anybody you'd like to thank then overall for exactly what this victory this season has come across to today?
I just want to thank Corey and everyone in the league, Mark, Glenn, Brandon. They do a lot, and so yeah, I just want to thank them, and I'm looking forward to season 5, I think.
Looking forward then to season 5. He thinks then, will Logan Cress, a reigning champion then, the next time he will come over. Connery, you're standing by with the unfortunate loser then today in all of this one, and it will be the driver of Corey Silver.
Hello there, Corey. Commiserations on losing the championship right there. You end up second place in the championship after that effort. I'll come towards your mistake a little bit later, but your early run pace was good, wasn't it?
Yeah, the way I was running the race in terms of pit strategy in the beginning, if it stayed green and saving the tires and lines, I was extremely confident. I thought I had it in the bag, and then obviously it's racing, stuff happens and it changed it, and yeah, I'm not too happy, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I don't really think anyone's going to be happy in your situation. It was just one simple mistake, a little tap of the wall, a little damage on the right-hand side of the car. How was the car feeling after that little bit of contact? It took you a few laps to decide to bring it down pit road. How was it?
The damage actually was pretty insignificant. What just killed me was losing about a second. So I lost a second, and I couldn't gain it back. We were so equal. So at that point, I knew I was either going to run the whole race green and stay out to the fuel tank, or we were going to have to play strategy. So I drew first blood, decided to pit, and it was just the difference in tires from them coming a few laps later that ultimately was the final straw for me.
Yeah, that final stop was a very aggressive strategy from you. Unfortunately, it did not work out. And can you just tell me, how many prayers were you saying for a caution in that last run?
At first, for the first 10 laps of it, I thought I had it. I thought I was comfortable, but then it just fell off a cliff. So from about 15 to go till 5 to go, I was just, come on. And then it just happened with 3 to go when it was insignificant. So Logan, he deserved it. He didn't hit the wall. He made less mistakes than me all season. So if I'm going to lose it, I can lose it to him.
Yep, and will you be taking the challenge to him next season? You won 4 races already this season, so you definitely have the pace to take this championship. Will you definitely be going for it next season?
I have actually a lot of family stuff going on next season, so I'm definitely going to be around at least part-time. Full-time is going to be difficult, but depending how it goes, I'll try to pull some strings if I think I'll still be in it.
Okay, there we go. Do you have anyone you want to give a shout out to at the end of this season?
Yep, of course to Air Movement and Fabrications for sponsoring the league, BBJ SimRacing, Croots Graphic Designs, and you guys.
Well, thank you very much. That was Corey Silva, 2nd place in your championship, 3rd place in the race. Jake, you have your other championship contender, well, was Evan Black.
Yes, I do. Evan Black joining us here in the commentary booth. Evan, it didn't work out for you the way you had wanted to today. We're looking for potentially that first win, potentially to get the crown without taking a win, which would be a major achievement in itself. But for you, your day ended a little bit early. Contact with Joshua Medlock then, causing the first caution, not how you wanted your title to end.
Yeah, there's not much I could have done with what happened. I thought he was just going to sit there. But he just came up right in front of me. I should have gone low. But we had a pretty good car all day. Didn't have the pace for Logan or Corey on the long run, definitely. But I think if we could have stayed up there and got a caution there towards the end, I could have kept up with them, maybe got a win.
Could have maybe got that win. Maybe that will come down a little later on, potentially in the new season that comes up for you. You know, you've been putting in that consistency all season, and all season we've been seeing you up there 3rd and 4th consistently throughout, getting yourself into those money positions to get yourself into the chase and into this final 3 for you. Maybe with 0.5 of a second, do you feel that you could be challenging for race victories and the title in a stronger position next season?
I think I definitely will be. I'm just going to move on to next season, do my best, try to pick up some speed, maybe get a win or 2, maybe a championship.
And of course, this final end of the season means that we can say it was a great effort then on your part. Is there anyone you'd like to thank for the effort that you put into the championship for this season?
Corey, Glenn, everyone that makes this league run, you guys for broadcasting it, just all you guys.
And there was Evan Black then, failing to finish in this one overall. And well, the end of a season comes right about now, and in the end there would only be one driver who could stand at the top when all could be said and done. This ends our coverage then here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, of this, your Thursday Xfinity Series. A big thank you to all the drivers, to everyone who has been pushing themselves to get themselves involved. A big thank you then to BBJ SimRacing, and also to Air Movement and Fabrications Limited as well. Both of them doing a great job then for the league. That has been Connery Maddock on my left-hand side, Will Vincent behind the cameras on my right-hand side, and well, a lot to happen then throughout the end, well, throughout this weekend, because it is, as we said earlier on, the iRacing.com Grand Prix World Championship Series weekend. Make sure you tune into that one then on iRacing Live, and also look out then the week after, because the 12 hours of Sebring is also going to be coming to you as well. Logan Crest then will take the championship then in the 4th season, but who will step up to the plate for the 5th, and can Logan Crest
Towards the outside, and almost your championship contenders almost make contact. Logan Crest clips the grass a little bit, manages to keep it pointed in the right direction. They'll both make their way by the number 27 of Corey Silva. He has to be hoping for a caution at this point. If things end as they are right now, Logan Crest will be your championship winner.
Yeah, now it falls away from Corey Silva. Now he needs Lady Luck on his side. Shut up and put your money where your mouth is. That's what you get when you're driving around in Vegas right now.
Towards the outside, and almost your championship contenders almost make contact. Logan Crest clips the grass a little bit, manages to keep it pointed in the right direction. They'll both make their way by the number 27 of Corey Silva. He has to be hoping for a caution at this point. If things end as they are right now, Logan Crest will be your championship winner.
Yeah, now it falls away from Corey Silva. Now he needs Lady Luck on his side. Shut up and put